combo again, folks. My name is Dakota, and I am a heck of a safari driver, if I do say so myself. Now, enough about me, let's talk about you and all the ways you can make this a fun and safe safari for our animal and human friends out there. Make sure you keep those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck and remain seated at all times. I am actually driving this thing. I am not an animatronic. An animatronic would not be half this charming. Also, folks, feel free to practice those oohs and ahs for any time you see an amazing animal out on the safari. Let's go ahead and practice. Give me a great big ooh. Lovely. Now give me a great big ah. Now laugh like your safari driver said something absolutely hilarious. We are going to have a great time on this 2-week safari. All right, folks, let's go when we've been given the all clear to enter that reserve. So, who's ready to see some animals? Let's do it, folks. Now, welcome into the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, our first area that we're going to see is the Little Ituri Forest. Now, the Little Ituri Forest is home to some animals that like to use their camouflage. If you can see it right on our left-hand side as we make this turn on that left-hand curve, you can see a bongo up there. Now, bongos are so rare and elusive in the wild. They are known as the ghosts of the forest. But on our right-hand side, got an okapi up there on the top of the hill. Now, that okapi, one of my personal favorite animals on the entire reserve. That okapi, you might think it's related to the zebra because of those stripes on its legs. It's actually the closest known relative of the giraffe. Go figure. Now that bird you see right there on your left-hand side at the top of the hill, those are saddle-billed stork. That antelope, the gray one, is a greater kudu. You can tell they are female because they don't have horns. Now she is the second largest antelope in Africa. Now both the greater kudu and the bongos can jump 8 feet straight up in the air. I know, right? That's insane. Now, if you're like me and you're wondering how that okapi is related to the giraffe, one of the ways we know that is because of its long prehensile tongue. If you don't know what prehensile means, don't worry, I didn't either. I had to look it up. Prehensile means that tongue can wrap around something and grab it like a finger. Now, right here on our left-hand side, folks, really incredible view today. Ladies and gentlemen, the backside of a rhino, the 8th wonder of the world. So that is a black rhino, actually. Now, black rhinos will weigh up to 3,000 pounds and charge at speeds of up to 35 miles an hour. Just, yeah, a lot faster than I can run, so I tend to stay out of their way. Speaking of prehensile, those black rhinos have a prehensile upper lip, so they can actually grab things and hold onto them with their lip, which is pretty neat. Now, as gorgeous as they are, though, unfortunately, they're still being heavily poached for their horns, which is really silly and unfortunate because their horns are made of keratin, which is the exact same material that makes up your own hair and fingernails. But looks like we're going to be headed out of the Little Ituri Forest and into the Safie River region. Completely different ecosystem out there, folks, with lots of different animal and plant life, so keep those eyes peeled. If you have any cameras back there, recommend putting them on that action or sports setting. If you're fiddling around with your smartphone and have no idea where that setting is, don't worry, I don't think that setting has existed since like iOS 8, so you're good. Now right off the bat on our right-hand side of us on the Safie River, looks like we got some pink-backed pelicans out there today. Now those pink-backed pelicans are known for that pink-colored pigment of skin on their back that actually gets brighter during mating season. They have a wingspan that can reach 8 to 9 feet long. Just for reference, that's the width of the canopy of this entire truck. It's a very big hug, but keep those eyes peeled in the water, folks. If you see anything in that water moving around that looks like a giant baked potato, it's probably a hippo. And right here on our left-hand side, looks like we're gonna see one just coming around that island. Now, hippos do like to spend most of their time submerged in the water. They can stay submerged for up to 8 minutes at a time. When they move around in the water just like that, they aren't really swimming. Most of the time, since they're so heavy and dense, they're just walking along the bottom of the river. Hi there. Now, hippos do have some pretty incredible instincts. They can raise their heads up out of the water to take a breath like that and lower it back down without even waking up. So, talk about your power nap. Now, a group of hippos, when you see a group of them together, just like that, is called a bloat of hippos. A bloat. That's their actual group name. I swear I didn't make that up. This is a fantastic name. Oh boy, right here on our left-hand side, got some Nile crocodiles out there today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy. Now these Nile crocodiles are some of the more fierce and intimidating animals on the reserve. That one's looking at me funny. Who built this bridge? Universal? This bridge is so rickety. I'm gonna go ahead and get over the bridge, folks. I don't want to lose another truck today. Now those crocodiles have a bite force of up to 2,000 pounds in those jaws. The most impressive part, though, is how well they can use them. Mommy and daddy crocodiles will actually roll their eggs around in their jaws as a form of helping their babies hatch. And they do this without even cracking the eggs. Now, crocodiles are ectothermic. It's another word I had to look up. It means cold-blooded. So if you see those crocodiles laying out in the sun with their mouths open, that is their own form of body temperature regulation since they don't sweat. Stand by, folks.
Yeah, still holding.
Looks like we're going to be slow just a little bit. Slight giraffic jam up ahead, but we will get on our way momentarily. A giraffic jam. I appreciate that one large sarcastic laugh I got from that lady in the back. Now right here on our right-hand side, folks, this is a very, very important landmark. Those of you who have been on the safari before know exactly what that is. That is my latest attempt at gardening. There's people in the back like, is he not going to talk about the baobab tree? No, that is a baobab tree, folks. Now, it is known as the upside down tree here in Africa because its stems look like roots when it goes leafless for 9 months out of the year. But it's also called the tree of life. That's because that trunk can hold thousands, and I do mean thousands of gallons of water in its trunk at a time. Elephants have been known to puncture that trunk with their tusks to get at that water during droughts. Now we are making our way onto the African savannah, folks, which is a good time to remind you that even though you do have those animal spotting guides, you're also got little old me right up here in the front driving your truck. So if at any point you have any questions for me, don't hesitate to ask. And if you see any animals I don't, please point them out. I will give out as much info as I can. And before any of you say anything, yes, I see the squirrels and the ducks all over the place, trust me. Now right here on our right-hand side, folks, I can already see some Ankole cattle out there today. Now the Ankole cattle, those are those cattle with the huge horns that you can see. Now Ankole cattle, their horns will reach 6 feet in length from tip to tip. Their horns might look like they weigh a ton, they're actually quite light. They're hollow with a honeycomb structure within that allows their blood flow to either increase or decrease to control their body temperature. Now, Ankole are really heavily farmed in Africa, not as a source of food, though, as a source of status. The more Ankole cattle you have, the more rich and famous you are, which I don't have any, and that tells you all you need to know about your driver. Trust me. I'd say the Ankole cattle are the Jordans of the savannah.
You look like you don't own any.
But stand by, folks. Appreciate your patience. I don't know who your parents are, but I'm sure I appreciate it. You know, I can see, you can see those gray colored antelope just by that other safari truck. Those are wildebeest. Wildebeest are also known as gnu, spelled G-N-U here in Africa. Learn something new every day. That was more of a groan than anything. Now, wildebeest are the second largest migrating species on the planet, second only to humans. They migrate in herds so large that they kick up dust clouds that can be seen from space. They do this once a year in an event called the Great Migration.
Wow. Yeah, that's almost Jeez.
Did you just say something about Mufasa back there?
No.
I was gonna say, I hope those aren't the same ones that
Too soon.
that do Mufasa. That'd be beyond awkward. Appreciate you folks' patience again. If you do have any questions, though, don't hesitate. You cannot know my social security number.
What's your mom's maiden name?
My mom's maiden name? Fleetwood.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
And those 3 little numbers on the map?
What's that?
How about your credit card number?
My credit card number? It's 54 you thought.
He's a boy, he doesn't remember it.
He's a boy, he doesn't remember it? Joke's on you. I don't remember it. You're right, actually. Never mind. That's a good trick, though, actually. He's a boy, he doesn't remember. Oh yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright folks, now right on our left-hand side, maybe I should talk about animals now, huh? People in the back, like, talk about animals, safari boy. All right, let's get this moving on. So we got a den right here on our left hand side, folks. Now, I'm not seeing any of the inhabitants in this den at the moment, but we'll keep our eyes peeled. Now, some of the animals that usually like to call this den home, some of my favorites are African painted dogs. Now, African painted dogs, if you see them, they are very often confused for hyenas. And actually, there's one right there behind the den. You can just see them. They are very social creatures. They will not start their day until every member of their pack has been greeted by another in the morning. They're also very successful hunters. They have a hunting success rate of 80 to 90% compared to just 30% of lions. Right here on our left-hand side, folks, these antelope right here at the bottom of the hill, the brown ones, are called sable antelope. Now, sable antelope are the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, actually, because unlike most prey animals, those guys will always choose to fight instead of flight when encountered by predators. That's what those 6-foot-long horns are for. Getting a pretty good view of those wildebeest, sure enough. Now, these mounds sticking up all over the savannah and shooting up into the sky, if you're wondering what those are termite mounds. Those mounds are made of dung, saliva, and mud. Delicious. They bake in the sun, get as hard as concrete, which is why elephants will use them as a scratching post, and some smaller antelope like to use them as a lookout post. Gonna get a really good view of these Ankoli cattle coming up on that right hand side, folks. I'm sure to have those cameras ready. There he is. Actually, right there through the trees, folks, on your right hand side, you can just see a Hartman's Mountain zebra back there, actually, through the trees. That Hartman's Mountain zebra, each zebra has its own unique set of stripes, its own pattern, kind of like a fingerprint. Baby zebras, as adorable as they are, have some pretty incredible instincts. They can tell their mother's stripes apart from any other zebra in the herd right from birth. Think of it like a barcode scanner at the grocery store. Now, if you were to ask me, Dakota, are zebras black with white stripes or white with black stripes? There is an answer to that. They are black with white stripes. And the way we can tell is because their noses are black. At least with that particular species.
Why are the trees covered with that mesh?
What? Why is there what now?
Like, why are the trees covered in the mesh?
Covered in a mesh? That is actually to protect the trees. So it's a way of marking them so that animals know that they are not there for food and not to be knocked down. A lot of the animals here, like some of the antelope, often like to knock down those trees. And actually, speaking of antelope, right here on the hill, on this left-hand side, you're going to get a much better view of them momentarily. That's an African eland right there at the bottom of that hill. Now, African eland are some of our larger antelope on the reserve. They're 6 foot tall at the shoulder. Males will attract females by creating a flower crown on their head. That's how they do it. They dig up flowers with their horns and make a flower crown on their heads, and they look fabulous.
Get you a man that wears a flower crown.
Those African eland over there are just eating that up, by the way. They're very happy with those comments. Now, that Masai giraffe that you see right there is the tallest animal on the planet. However, as long as that neck is, they only have 7 vertebrae, which is the exact same amount as humans have in their neck. Really good view of a whole tower of these Masai giraffe, folks. This is going to give us a pretty good demonstration of that prehensile tongue we just talked about, too.
Yeah, what's that tongue do?
Now for giraffe, folks, it is pretty hard to get down to the ground and back up again, so they will do just about everything standing up. Eating, sleeping, even giving birth. So a baby giraffe starts off its life with a 6-foot drop straight to the ground. Talk about your tower of terror. I don't know about you folks though, but I could not be a giraffe. Couldn't do it, because a giraffe only sleeps on average 30 minutes a day.
Ew.
Yeah, not your driver. That would not be a pretty picture. Looks like we got some knocked down trees all around us though, folks. So these trees are typically a pretty good indicator that we're entering elephant country. And right there on your right hand side, gonna see your first look at an African elephant today, ladies and gentlemen. Now, The way you can tell he's an African elephant is because the shape of his ears kind of resembles the continent of Africa in shape.
Mandarin.
Now right there on our left-hand side, close, that's a mandrill. Now, these mandrills are the largest monkey species in Africa. That's a really good view of them too.
Give me a smile.
Now, those mandrills, you'll notice how they have those bright colored markings on their face. Those bright colored markings actually glow brighter when they get excited or agitated. They are actually the only monkey species to smile at each other when they